Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about economics. All right, this is something new that we haven't done yet, and I'm excited about it. Economics is interesting. It's going to be something that you're going to need to know as you get older. If you've never heard of it before, basically what economics is economics is about money, which I know we all love money. Okay, and it has to do with how countries spend their money, how countries make their money, and what type of people in society make their money for that country. Okay, if you look at the bottom of the screen right here, you can read you see where it says what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Those are basically what that is it is what makes up economics. That's the three main questions that people ask in economics, and what we decide of what type of economy it is. Okay, if you look on the screen, you'll see where you have your standard. Okay, each one of these is an economic standard. SS6E5, the student will analyze different economic systems. SS6E6, the student will analyze the benefits and barriers to trade, to voluntary trade in Europe, and SS6E7, the student will describe the factors that cause economic growth and examine their presence or absence in Europe. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the different types of economies. We have 4 different ones, and then we are going to talk about what's something called human capital, capital goods, and also GDP, entrepreneur, and tariff, embargo, and quota. Okay. All right. So here's our notes. We got it. You should have it in front of you. I got mine right here. And let's go to work. Okay. Enough of the boring stuff, going over the standards, and listen to me talk. So let's get to work. All right. First slide. Traditional economy, guys. A traditional economy is something that's based on customs and traditions of the past. Okay. So it would be like something that, like an economy that happened a long time ago. In fact, no one uses these in the world. Okay? All right, we don't use these anymore. If anybody uses them, it's like people in the rainforest in Brazil who don't even know what a computer is. Okay? It's like those type of people. All right? So it's based on customs and traditions. Inheritance is a big thing, and it's inherited down, from person to person in their family. Bartering. Okay, if you know what bartering means trading. So if I said, I'm gonna use a person for example. Like I know this person is watching in 4th period right now, Matthew Lott. Matthew Lott. If I said, I will give you a pencil for your red binder that you have, we're bartering and trading. Okay, so that's a big part of a traditional economy. Okay. Habits are developed by society long ago, and then no current traditional economies in Europe. So nobody in Europe uses these. They haven't used these in like thousands of years. Okay, but you need to learn about it. Okay, now if you look at our line right here at the bottom or on our paper, you'll see under the word traditional economy, their first point, you need to write based on customs and traditions. Okay, all right. So that's the first line, based on customs and traditions. We see the word inheritance. The next line, you need to write bartering. Bartering is the next line. Line under that, you need to write habits are developed by the society long ago. Okay? So those are the first 3 lines. All right? So pause it, write that down. All right, next slide. We're talking about command economy. Okay? Command economy is pretty easy to remember because basically in a command economy, everything is controlled by the government. Okay, so like if you went to school, everything there is owned by the government. If you went to a business, if you went to buy some new shoes, okay, those shoes are sold to you by the government. All right, everything, literally everything is controlled by the government. Your job is given to you by the government. Your house is given to you by the government. Nobody owns anything on their own. Okay? There's no Apple, there's no Samsung, there's no Nike, there's no privately owned businesses. Everything is owned by the government. Okay? So, you can see that right here where it says planned and controlled by the government. The government decides what and how much is produced. So the government decides. Guys, if there's something that I can get you to remember about this, it's the fact that the government decides. Please remember that. Command economy equals government. The government also decides who it is produced for. So not only do they decide what is produced, not only do they decide how much is produced, but they say, hey, it's for this certain person. So they might say, if you're a girl, you have to wear a blue shirt. Okay, all right, and you can only buy blue shirts. Or if you are working at a job, they'd say, all right, today you have to make 15 chairs, and you got to make green chairs. So what and how? Okay. All right. So some examples of these over time have been the Soviet Union and Cuba. Okay. The Soviet Union and Cuba are two examples of command economies. All right. If we look at our notes, the first line, you need to write planned and controlled by the government, and that is right underneath command economy. So look where the command economy in bold right there is. Right, the first line says planned and controlled by the government. Then you'll read where it says the government decides what and how much is produced. The government also decides who it is produced for. And then the last line right there, you need to make sure that you put that the Soviet Union and Cuba are examples, because we're going to talk about those two. Okay, in about 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to talk about the Soviet Union. And then when we get around December, we're going to start talking about Cuba. Okay, so it's important that you know that these places have command economies. Okay, all right, one more time. Who controls the command economy? The government. The government tells people what to do. Okay, all right, next slide. All right, market economy. Now, a market economy is basically the exact opposite of a command economy. So in a market economy, the government doesn't tell you what to do at all. The government has zero say in what is going on. Everything is owned by someone. Okay? It is privately owned. It would be like you owning your own business or somebody else owning their own business. The government has no say so. The government doesn't tell you what to make, how to make it, who to make it for. You decide that, the business owner. Okay? All right, so read it right here. Business owners and customers make decisions about what, how, and for whom to make, sell, or buy. Okay? So, in my own words, what I would tell you is the buyers and the sellers decide who makes what in a market economy. Okay? So, we're the buyers when we go to the store, and the people who you get the stuff from, who you buy it from, that's the sellers. Okay? So, buyers, the people at the store, are the sellers. Okay? Now, it is a free enterprise system, meaning there's no government control whatsoever. Entrepreneurs are in there. And if you don't know what an entrepreneur is, basically an entrepreneur is someone who risks their own time, money, and ideas to start their own business. After you finish these notes, you're actually going to watch Shark Tank. And if you've ever watched Shark Tank before, no, I don't mean like literal sharks. I mean like basically there's a TV show called Shark Tank, and it's where these people get up in front of these millionaires, and the people who get up in front of the millionaires are entrepreneurs, and they pitch their ideas for something they have made, invented, or a business they've started. So they want help from the millionaires to give them some money so they can kind of get their business started. Okay, so everybody on Shark Tank's an entrepreneur. You can start thinking of some famous entrepreneurs right now. Okay, the guy who created Apple, Steve Jobs, big entrepreneur. Okay, all right. Unfortunately, he's not alive anymore, but he started Apple. He was an entrepreneur. Samuel Walton, what do you think he started? Walmart. Okay. All right, that's an entrepreneur. Someone who risks their own time, their own money, because it takes your own money, and your idea to start a business. That is what an entrepreneur is. Okay, and then the United Kingdom is basically who uses a market economy, and they're mostly, and we'll talk about that in a second when we get to mixed economy. Now, if we look at our notes, look for market economy in bold. Right there, you'll see that it says already has the business owners and customers make decisions about, and then you need to fill in that line where it says what, how, and for whom to make, sell, or buy. So this is what you need to write on that line, that first line right there. Okay? All right. So pause your computer, pause the video, and write this down. So what, how, and for whom to make, sell, or buy. So make sure you get that down. Okay? And then a free enterprise system. Entrepreneurs, we talked about that. Remember to risk their own time. They risk their own time, money, and ideas to start the business. And then the last one you need to write, United Kingdom. Okay? All right, so that's a market economy. And remember, a market economy, there is no government control. Okay? Next slide. Mixed economy. Now, basically, this is the most popular in the world. Everybody, for the most part, has a mixed economy. A mixed economy, you might want to write this down right away, like right next to mixed economy. Mixed economy is a mixture, a blend of both command and market economy. Now, I know they're opposites, but what that means is that basically it would be an economy where people can own their own businesses, but there is still, the government can kind of say, hey, you need to do this or you need to do that. So an example would be like if there was a toy that came out, and let's say a popular toy company is Hasbro, and let's say Hasbro made a toy, and the government might come in and say, all right, this toy cannot be made with lead paint. Why? Because lead paint makes you sick. So the government can kind of put restrictions on things, but they can't necessarily tell the business owner how much they can make, what they look like, or anything like that. Okay, so it's a mixture of both. It is a blend of both command and market. Okay, the more government control, the closer it is to a command. The less government control, the closer it is to a market economy. Now, we have this in the United States. We have a mixed economy, but it's more market. Okay, because as you can read right here, it says certain things like utilities, shipping, banking, and food are regulated by the government. Like they don't want, like the government's going to make sure your food is healthy. Okay, the government's going to make sure banking that we don't run out of money, and that if the bank does go out of business, people who have their money in the bank will get that back if the bank does go out of business. Okay, that's very important. All right, so like what we have, a mixed economy, we are very market. You know, people can own their own businesses. But at the same time, the government does have a little bit of say in what's going on. Okay? If we look at our notes, you need to write, based on a mixture between a pure command and then a pure market. Okay? The blank government, so the more government control, the closer, it's the next line, all right, is to a command economy. And then the next line says, the less government control, the more, and the more individual control, that's the next right here, that you need to write this, all right, right here, the closer it is to a market economy, okay? So if you're looking at those three lines in that point right there, the first one is less, the next one is individual, and then that last one right before you get to economy is market. Okay, all right. Now this next thing right here we're going to look at is what's called, all right, that's a video, by the way. I'm not going to play the video on a video. When you finish this, you can go back and watch it. It's only 2 minutes long. Don't worry about it. It's not a huge deal. But if you want to, you can. Okay. All right. So go back on the notes after the video, and you can watch that. All right. All right, now this right here is a spectrum, okay? All right, and if you look at it, the closer things are to this side, the closer they are to a command. The closer things on this side, the more market they are. So, more government control, less government control. All right? Okay, I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to go ahead and go to the next one, okay?